We are oppressed. We are exploited. We are downtrodden. We are denied not only civil rights, but even human rights. So the only way we're going to get some of this oppression and exploitation away from us or aside from us is come together against the common enemy. We are oppressed. We are exploited. We are downtrodden. We are denied not only civil rights, but even human rights. So the only way we're going to get some of this oppression and exploitation away from us or aside from us is come together against the common enemy.
Hey, what's going on, everybody?
What up, Joe?
Man, I know we got a day, and I'm telling you, we're doing some battling today. The battle is that we're battling against the NBA Finals. I can't front that out. We're battling against the NBA Finals.
Facts.
I know it's game 3. Go ahead, watch it. Because I'm watching it. Well, I'm not literally watching. I'm out and about. But
I'm about to watch it.
Still going to have a good time either way. Yeah. Hey, Miss Kathy, I see you. Miss Kathy, that's why I got it, because I'm like, Miss Kathy reminded me. I'm like, oh, yeah, it is game 3. It is on tonight. Don't be surprised if 2 teams, one going to win, one going to lose, and I'm a big sports fan.
I drove by.
Outside of that,
I drove by Walmart.
Welcome to Unfiltered. Everybody is watching now. I know everybody thinking probably like, man, did y'all move the nights? No, we didn't move the nights whatsoever. It's just that Wednesday got a little busy. These past 2 Wednesdays been really busy. So that's why it's on Friday, because we just want to make sure we at least stay consistent through the week to make sure that we get on for y'all. So we just want to welcome all of y'all to Unfiltered for our 29th episode.
Number 2.
We are in the middle. It is hard to believe we are in the middle of 2022.
Okay. Where is the time going?
We are in the middle.
We just got into 2022.
It do just feel like
to me, it's like, wow, how fast has this year already gone by that we already in the middle of it? We are on the about to be at the almost a little bit at the tail end of it. Well, not the tail end, but the second half of it. And I kind of just want to do a year in review, because we've had a lot of stuff that's happened this year. I mean, it has been a lot of stuff that's already happened already.
Yeah.
Wow. And we just want to go into details about a thing. So we're going to have a good show tonight. Of course, John, I see you. Derek, I see you. I appreciate everybody. If y'all wondering, like, what is he doing? I'm just out and about trying to take care of some things.
Multitasking.
So I got the greatest podcast host in the land with me, and I'm going to let them go ahead and introduce themselves before we go any further.
Ladies first. Go ahead, Cece.
Appreciate you. What's good, everybody? I know you've missed my beautiful face. I missed you guys. I'm happy that we're back. And I'm back and I'm able to connect without these technical issues. And I'm excited for just us recapping, us just understanding where we at, what we doing, what's going on. Checking in with everybody, making sure everybody okay. We got a lot going on. Everybody does. So we just want y'all to know y'all not by yourself. And that's why we stay consistent. So come on, let's have these conversations.
This your boy, Mr. Reese, 1/3 at Unfiltered. Continue to like and subscribe. I'm ready to get to these topics. I just want to say, everybody, appreciate what you have now because it's somebody that can never have it. I don't know, I was out earlier on my day off, and I was just looking at a young man. I was just in a wheelchair. I'm like, man, like I can like some things we take for granted, like like one waking up in the morning, but able just to walk, breathe, talk, see. So let's not take those things for granted. I just saw Instagram. I guess Justin Bieber has some kind of disease where half of his face is like kind of paralyzed,
Oh
and
wow.
yeah, it's like the reaction is slower than the other. So I don't know. I just want to take time out to just appreciate. Let's appreciate the things that we do have because you know it's some people that don't have them. So just keep that in mind, everybody.
Mr. Johnson.
Well, let's go ahead and get this started. Fifi, how your week been?
It's been good. I gotta give Mr. Johnson because he
Oh
just
man.
chill out here. He chill
Oh,
out here.
oh well, no. Let me well, if I have to say anything, I really want to get started with, and I hate to get started with this, but unfortunately, we got another mass shooting that happened.
Yeah,
Another mass shoot. But this one was in Maryland. Uh,
I believe so. Yeah.
I believe it was in Maryland this time. It's man. I believe that this is just going to be a topic that we are not going to be able to get around.
For a while.
I just think that the government, with midterm elections coming up, and it just seems funny how all this always pops off during election time. I'm just
Mhm.
saying, but that's like a really big coincidence. But it's midterm elections, and this is the hot topic. They're going to bury it because a little bit because what they're going to try to make the hot topic is these high gas prices. I feel like I live in California.
It's
Let's
crazy.
not say
So
that because theirs is way higher than ours.
I feel it took like almost $100 to fill up my tank. I was
Mm.
not happy about that. I was like, golly. And then I was getting off the freeway. I'm like, all right, I go to the gas station by my house because I'm like, it gotta be like 20 cents cheaper. Nope, more expensive. So yeah, damn near $100 to fill a tank. I'm about, I'm about to give me a bite.
And you said you put a what? You said 100?
A
Man,
hundred,
it's a lot.
a $100.
Listen, the thing I have to say about this inflation is I need these employers to inflate their pay and I need to make sure people are able to survive.
Hmm.
Everything else is getting higher, but this income ain't.
Nope, I am with you on that, cause I think I think they're in the talks of trying to give our employees a pay raise. It ain't enough, but still like it's something, but still like
It's something better than what they already got.
yeah,
A
but
little bit more.
they definitely deserve more. Definitely deserve more, in my
A little
opinion.
more
But like I
cushion. All I can say about these mass shootings is that we need to continue to keep everyone lifted in prayer. Because one thing I can
Absolutely.
say that I do see that's in common is the ages of these mass shooters are getting younger and younger. And it
Yeah.
goes back to, again, what are we doing with our youth? What are we doing to help them? What are we doing to listen to them? Because again, they didn't share a lot of information, of course, about all the younger shooters or whatever. They only tell you that they're, just turning 18 or they're of age. But majority of the time, if we look into their backgrounds, they had a lot of red flags and screams for help that people did not pay attention to.
hmm
And it makes me think about how the way our culture is set up, our society set up, we're just so busy all the time. We just have no real time to do the things that are really important. We're just busy doing stuff, but the things that really matter, we don't have time for.
Right.
And I think we need to focus on that more, because it's like not even just the mass shootings, but just the suicides. Those are going so high. Those levels, those counts, and they're younger and younger. That's the whole point I'm making. We need to really start focusing on the youth and really start helping them. I mean, it's us too, but I'm just saying, as you can see, they are the ones that are crying out for help.
I think the crazy thing about this time, with mass shootings and everything, like, even though it's kind of like it's numbing, you know what I mean? So it's like after we hear it, we'll get upset, but like, all right, everything's back to normal as far as like I haven't really changed up my routine as far as like um me understanding or feeling like I live in a safer neighborhood, that stuff like that won't happen.
Mm-hmm.
And just knowing that it could be any, and with just these past shootings, like within this past decade, just shows that it can happen anytime, anywhere that you can't even like imagine. Like, I went to the shooting range with a buddy of mine, and because we were talking about it, and I'm like, wow, like there's nothing that could stop somebody, like, while we're at the range, somebody could just come out and just shoot us. And like there's like it would be a surprise at this point. Like there's nothing and nowhere safe. You know what I mean? So it's like, okay, so if it happens, it happens. So I just think now, like, we gotta be more cautious of our surroundings, because like you said, it could just happen. Like, I love wearing my headphones, like when I go, to Walmart to shop or Kroger, anything like that. It's like, now that's one thing I don't do. I don't wear my headphones anymore, because like I got to hear if somebody's getting shot or anything happens, so I can, know where to go. So
Wow,
just little stuff like that, man. Just
crazy.
crazy.
It's crazy. Crazy.
Uh, uh, but last week, Fifi, we were talking about, what do you, and I'll ask you, what do you think it's gonna take for for this to kind of slow down, or what do you think it'll take for us to have better gun laws? What do you think it's gonna take?
My honest opinion is that pertaining for this to slow down, we need to pray. That's one. People don't want to hear that, because people always associate prayer with religion and all these beliefs that they don't believe in. But
Right.
as you can see, when we are separating ourselves from God, the more these things are happening. I'll just make a quick note that when we took prayer out of schools, things started changing. People didn't pay attention to it, but it's evident these days. And it's unfortunate, but that's what it is. And then going back to the gun laws, it's not going to change because the government doesn't want it to change. That's period. They can talk all this good talk and we're going to do these things, but if you wanted to do it, you would have been did it. I'm just saying. For the matters that are the higher ups, the ones that's actually making the calls and the ones that are actually in charge, they wanted something to change, it would have changed by now. But they don't. I'm just being honest. I ain't even trying to be all deep and dark and grim and all that. It's just the truth. Because when they want to do something, they get it done. And I just want to point out how, like, they not even talking about the one mother with the kids who were, had the school shooting and that were massacred. They're not even talking about the one mother who ran in and saved her kids and somebody else's kid at the same time, and how she had to fight the police in order to get in to save her kid, and the police was outside the whole time
Hey, you know
with
what else I heard
guns.
about? You know what else I heard about that too, Fifi? I heard some officers had kids in there and they went in and get their kids first before they actually, uh, try to handle the shooting situation. I mean,
And see
which is
that's
natural.
go ahead, I'm sorry.
No, no, I said which is kind of natural, but go ahead.
Yeah, I mean that's natural, but it's like it's just it goes deeper than just there was a shooting and the police were called, but they didn't know what to do, or they had calls and orders. It's called go save those kids. Don't wait outside while the kids are inside getting murdered and killed. And that's the part where, going back to the original question you asked, I feel like until we decide to stop following these certain systems and orders and rules that are not helping or serving us, I think that again, things are not going to change. I mean, that's on every level. I even think with education, like for public school systems, we are not being serviced well. But we're going to keep sending our kids to school. We're going to keep complaining, but we ain't doing nothing about it. We're not starting our own schools. Our own teachers are in our own community, live in the same neighborhood we live in. We're not just coming together to say, hey, we don't like what's happening in the system that's already established. Let's create our own system, or let's do a nonprofit school, or figure something out to serve our community better so our students and our kids can have a better education. Let's raise some funding and some capital so that we can pour it into our community and build it up and get, black on whatever, or whatever the case may be. We're not finding or taking the time to make those solutions. It's happening, but what I'm saying is it's not happening at a consistent pace. It's just like sporadic here and there, and then it's just taking us a while to just come together and unify. And I think that's going to be the answer. When we decide we want to come together and unify, when we decide we actually want to stand against these things that we have started conforming to, then I think that's when we're going to see a real change with gun laws and everything. Because I think about George Floyd and how we consistently protested, and then things started to happen and things started to change because we would not compromise, we would not back off, we were consistent and we unified, and that made a difference.
I think, and I love what you said. Love everything what you said. I just one thing that I kind of noticed, and I can even say that I had the liberty to actually take part of stuff like this. Like as much as hey, we want to do for our community and live and stay in our communities. Sometimes, and like I said, and I can be guilty of it. We want what's better for us and our families, so it's best to go ahead and move away, so we can feel like we can at least like have one look out for my family. Like when it comes out of community, it's like so great example. Like if kids are having problems with school, if the parents not going to do anything about it, how can they do something about their community? They can't do nothing about their own household, and it's not just one or two students. It's a issue in the community. So it's like, why not go ahead and just move my children in the best situation? Yeah, I we feel for the kids in the inner cities, and feel for the kids in our neighborhoods, but it's like, what's the priority? Saving our family. So, and some of those people do have the resource to actually help. And you got a lot of people who abuse them and don't want to accept that help. So therefore, that's what we're stuck with. That's one thing I can say about that particular situation in that regards. I just think that we need we need the help to stay in the community, and we gotta, like I say, we gotta band together, or else people who can do some things or want to do some things is gonna move out and take it elsewhere, or those talents will never be, what I mean, uh, those talents will never be used for what it needs to be used for.
Can you hear me?
I can hear you now, yeah.
Okay, I don't know what was going on. Stupid stuff. But yeah, I
Oh
agree. I
no,
mean,
I mean,
I just think that we need to I think it's just like a lot of forgetfulness. Like I'm for, okay, if I have an opportunity to better me and my family, let's do it. But I think that it becomes I'm bettering my family and I moved away, but I'm not looking back.
Yeah.
And I think that's what causes the mental health and the crisis to expand more, because those same children are going to be the ones that's growing up, that's going to be coming to all the neighborhoods and just doing different things that are, causing issues and problems. And it's like, all they need is attention in a positive way. They need to see, I made it out, you can too. But it ain't even necessarily about making it out. It's like, how can you make a change right where you are? How can you influence? I just think it's just us mentoring the young people. I think it's going back to that, because I feel like that's something that's been lost, and I can see that in the generations. Like, yeah, we was hard and felt some kind of way about the way our parents raised us, or we felt like they were super strict or whatever, but there was a consistent connection there where they passed down things to us. And I feel like because however many generations didn't like how the other generation did it or whatever, they stopped passing things down. So now there's no legacy. There's nothing being transferred over of positivity. It's just like, okay, y'all gonna fend for yourself and figure it out. And I feel like that's where, again, we have the issues, because if we pay attention, all of these young people are the ones that's committing suicides, doing these mass shootings, just shooting and killing each other. And it has to be, we can't keep talking about this is sad. We got to do something to make change. And it ain't going to be just waiting on somebody to do it. We have to do it. Just make the choice and decision and come together and do it. And like I said, there's already people out here doing something about it. But they're just a small few. If the vast majority would come together, I feel like we would see a change a little bit more quicker than what we are at the rate we are now. And we'll lose less young people that way as well.
I think and I just want to say, Miss Kathy, hopefully everything's good with you. You know, but I as I can agree with you, I think I think if we see things progress, that's where I think more people actually can and will get involved as far as helping. But I just think it's exhausting, or you have like that feudal feeling to where like, hey, if I'm just you know, sand in the beach, you know what I'm saying? Like I really making no difference if I don't see no progress. But once people see progress, then I feel like more help will actually be efficient. But until we can actually see progress, the help that's needed is not going to be available. More people are going to be turned off to actually helping. You know.
I agree. I mean, I just think it goes back to our mindset, our perspective, the way we're thinking. Because I think about Dr. King. Like, it wasn't him and a whole bunch of thousands of people that came out like, we're going to do this. He started by himself with his friends and a few people in his community. And then it grew because they were consistent and persistent. They didn't just say, oh, we ran into some struggle. We ran into some obstacles. We ran into some challenges. We're going to quit. They were like, no, I know this is coming. Let's prepare for what's coming, because we know craziness is going to come. So let's prepare for it. And we're still going to move forward until we see the vision. He died and still didn't see the vision, but it still lives on because we understand. Look at our communities now. All of it is still not 100% to where he wanted his dream to be. However, we see a lot of interracial couples. We see on TV and commercials a lot more advertisement of Black and whites together. So that segregation is still there, but it's coming down. That discrimination, that racism, it still exists. But it's only existing because people are keeping it alive. So as we already said, if we are doing something different in our community and we're being persistent, we're going to see a change. It may not come right away. It may not happen overnight, but we're going to see a decrease in violence or in the way young people are even thinking about themselves. They're going to see that there is a better way. And what I'm saying by that is we always compare ourselves to the wealthy people or the celebrities or whatever. But even them in their stories, if you listen to a lot of them, if you hear their interviews and they talk about their story, it all started from, I had a vision, I had a dream, and I followed it. Period. They had obstacles, they got no's, they got all these things, but they stayed persistent and consistent, and that's how they got where they need to be. And as a community, we can't say we're a community if we're not thinking about everybody in the community. I think it's gotten to the point where we're just all thinking about self. How can I get mine? How can I move forward? And that's good. You got yours that you can move forward, which is good. You're supposed to help yourself before you can help somebody else. You got to be good. But it's like we're not passing that on. It's like we getting ours and then that's it.
Yeah, and I think, and that's a great analogy with King. I just think, but to kind of even draw to the point, I think those times were different. That we had to stick together because there was no other option but to there's no way somebody can get their own, you know what I mean, during that, during that time. But like now it's different. So it's like, well, hey, I could be a part of this, but if it's not solely affecting me, I really don't have to. You know what I'm saying? So I think times are different to where like it's more of a choice than I think where I think in that time it was an obligation. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So I think I think I think it will work in this day and like it will work in this day and age because people like to ride a wave. And that's why I kind of noticed like, hey, if this is going on, they feel like it's progressing or it's changing, then people bam, they'll ride a wave. But as far as like how things work, like as far as helping in communities and doing stuff like that, I think times are different because now people are able to do stuff on their own and for their own. So they're less amped to actually go ahead and want to work on something that's going to actually take work. So, or sacrifice.
Yeah, I agree. And I just pray that that changes because, like,
Yeah.
again, going back to answer the question, nothing's going to change until we decide and choose to make a difference and make a
Yeah.
change. That's simple. And it's simple because it's like we keep focusing on the things that are not important. It's like, okay, and then I'm done because I could go on for
No,
a
you
while.
good.
But
You fine.
my
You
my
good.
main thing is like we talk about mental health and we talk about people being having issues, and we don't acknowledge the unhealthiness in our own ways and our own behaviors. It's like, so, okay, main thing, talking about losing weight. We can talk
Yeah.
about losing weight. Oh, I'm getting fat. Oh, look at this. But we still eating the same things that's making us even more fatter. We still complaining about it to our friends or family or even ourselves. We just look at ourselves like, oh, I'm so fat. I'm getting so out of shape. Oh, I feel crazy. Oh, my body heavy. Oh, look at this. My thighs rubbing together. All these things. Oh, my legs getting swollen. All these things we keep saying. And it's like the evidence is in front of us what we need to do, but we don't make the choice and the decision to do something different. Like just go get a gym membership or work out at home. Just go buy some weights, and every time you walk past the weights, pick them up and start using them. Simple. That is really that simple, but we make it so complicated, like we don't know what to do. And it's not the fact that we don't know what to do, it's just we're not choosing to do it. And I feel like, again, associating this with what's going on, we don't choose to do things about it. We want to continue the way we're doing things because it's comfortable. And we're going to have to get to the point where we kind of get out of our comfort zone and get uncomfortable so that we can see real change. We have to, because I'm sure Dr. King was not comfortable with going to jail, with getting beat up and abused, with getting his character defamed. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm sure he wasn't cool with that. But he had to get uncomfortable in order to see change. And I think that's what we have to start doing. We all got real comfortable. We all think that our voice doesn't carry weight and that we don't have power, but we do. But it's a part of us choosing to use that authority and that power that we have. It's simple. We got to choose it. And I feel like, again, Just like those people who still fat and still gain weight and just looking at themselves like, ugh.
Still
Make a
fat.
choice and go work out. Put the cupcakes down and go get some water. Go get some salad. Go
She
get
ain't
something that's
lying though.
nutritious that's going to help you. And I'm speaking for myself. I can say this because I'm talking about me. I'm talking about myself. I gained weight during the pandemic, and I'm like, we got to do something different. I can't keep talking about it. This can't be a New Year's resolution for 25 years. This has to be, okay, I'll talk about it now. Let's do it. Let's be about it.
Yes, ma'am.
And that's for people, because that's the thing. People be getting all deep about it. That's if you was gain 15 pounds, 5 pounds, 2 pounds, 3 pounds. It doesn't matter. If you gain 25 pounds, 60 pounds, it don't matter. If you had a baby and got pregnant and you trying to lose the weight, it don't matter. If you've been obese your whole life and now you're like, I've been dealing with this, but I ain't really feeling it. It doesn't matter how you got there. It's just the fact that you understand your current situation and that you want it to be different. You have the power and authority to make a change just by making a choice and a decision. And I feel like, again, that goes back to where we at. Like, we have to choose as a community. Do we want to live or do we want to die? We see death all around us. It's happening at a vast rate. We got to make a change to choose life. That means we have to help ourselves. Instead of going to watch all this reality TV and all these things that's entertaining, okay, let's go start studying what can we do to make a difference. How can we start learning about the government system so that we can stand against those things or that are corrupt? We can call out all those things that are not true. Yes, we're still going to have opposition. We're still going to have people resisting and pushing against us, but we'll be knowledgeable. We'll be persistent. We'll be consistent. They're going to get tired at some point. But if we're never speaking up, if we're never taking a stand, if we're never doing anything different, they're not going to care. And that's the whole point. They don't care. Because it's not, just like you said, man, they don't care because it's not happening to them. That's not their kids getting killed. Their kids are in good private school.
I really like what you said as far as like, no, I was just gonna just tell Phoebe I really like what she said as far as us having to even want the knowledge to actually get the resources that we need, because at this point some of us don't even really want it. We don't care for it because we feel like we don't need it.
Y'all, you know, as I've been sitting back, I don't want nobody to think. As I've been sitting back, I've been listening to what y'all saying. There's a lot to unload with everything that y'all both said, in a good way, in a very good way. This is what I'm gonna say. I think I could sum everything up in some of the best, in one of the best choruses that we've ever heard in our lifetime. One of the very best choruses from one of the most powerful songs that people don't realize that was such a true statement. It go right over their head. I think it go right over their head because of the individual that did it, because you know they was looking at it. But you literally say, I'm starting with the man in the mirror. I'm asking him to change his ways. And no message could have been any clearer. If you want to make the world a better place, take a look at yourself and make the change. I when I was, you know, because you listen to that song all the time, you know, everybody listen, you know, they like to probably that's cool. You know, God, you know, God bless his soul. One of the best entertainers of all time. But at the same time, this man realized his platform. And if you never listen to his music and his lyrics, everything go right over your head. You just get caught in the entertainment. You don't get caught in what he was saying. I think that just go with everything y'all just said. Change starts with yourself. You have to be the change that you want to see. What happens when you have this is why when people talk about community, A community is only good as the people that live in it. That's bottom line. Crime doesn't stop because of police, contrary to popular belief. Police do not deter crime. The community deters crime. The community lets you know as a whole, we don't play that here. We don't want it to happen. If you're going to do it, you got to do it somewhere else. If you don't believe that, I've used this example all the time. Go to the corner of Alter Road and Jefferson. You'll see one of the most spiritual things you ever seen in your life. You'll see that on one side is Detroit and one side is Grosse Pointe Park. One side, you will be willing to do all the crime and throw litter on it anytime you want to. On the other side, you creep and you tiptoe and you wouldn't dare throw any amount of trash or anything on that side. That's spiritual. So when we talk about how we want to do crime and how we want things to get better, it simply starts with the individuals that's in the community. I know it seems like we trying to make it seem simple, and it's not. You want to know why? Because this is years and years and years and years and years of bad habits, years and years and years and years of lack of caring, years and years and years of waiting for heroes to come, when everybody should have been like, the best way for us to get this done is to be the ones doing it. One of the things that I know that I'm so proud of, and one of my best friends is on here, I hope he's still on here, and it's Marcel. Mr. Marcel Copeland, who I believe in my heart is going to be a future congressman of Detroit. I say that all the time because not only do I believe it, I'm prophesying on him because he's outstanding. Me and him have worked in this community for years. And I understood that just me being able to graduate, get my degree, start my businesses, become manager, and everything I do, all the success in my life, that before I'm like, let me be modest. And now I'm in a whole different light where I'm like, I'm not going to be modest to how incredible my God is, to how incredible that the work that I put me in great positions due to me being obedient.
Yes.
One of the first things I wanted to do when I got back and I got my degree and everything else was I wanted to get back to my community. I wanted to show other young men and young women that grew up Eastside Detroit in what this country says is some of the worst neighborhoods, the worst crime, that don't let them define you. You got to go out and define yourself. You got to go out here and be about your purpose and your mission. And we'll get into that a little bit more later. But the thing that bothers me the most is that we live in a society where people love to complain, but bring nothing else to the table but complaints. They don't bring solutions. They don't bring cooperation. They bring complaints. They bring this attitude of that who's going to do something, but nobody wants to do anything about it. The only thing that's consistent is the inconsistency of a lot of communities. How do we stop violence? I mean, how do we stop not only just the school shootings, because we've lived in any major urban city, you've lived with these crimes and things of that nature for years. The problem is that we have to get out of this weird concept of there's no snitch, when every big time drug dealer, every big time dope boy, every big time crook, every time big time criminal have snitched out, took plea deals in every nature, at every juncture, so they could get less crime. They're selling you wolf tickets. They've been doing this for years. This is why I get so mad when I see my own people sell out our own community. How do we sell out their own community? Every time you get up there and you tell and you put us in a bad eye talking about, well, I got to tell our story. That's BS. Every single one of your albums can't be saying the same story. I got to tell my story. I got to tell how, man, I had to kill, you know what I'm saying? I had to kill a nigga. How that, you know what I'm saying? I don't love these hoes. How I don't like these bitches. Mm-hmm. This is what you want to have everybody believe. This is why they take us as a joke. This is why they never take us seriously. This is why they think we're expendable. Because you push this narrative. Let me tell you something. If it was everything else, the proof is in the pudding when it comes to everything, when it comes to advertisement, especially for blacks. Rick Ross, and I know Matt, people y'all know the same thing. Rick Ross had an entire song talking about, I gotta get with a Gucci killing nigga, and I'ma say the slipper. Then he made a comment about slipping, you know what I'm saying, a Mickey to a girl. That one line out of a line of all his songs, talking about disrespecting niggas and women and doing things at all costs. One line about slipping a date rape drug cost him millions. The outrage. Not only that, he went back and apologized. How often have you seen black? This is, to me, that's Uncle Tom crap. You go apologize for the date rape, but you don't apologize for the constant disrespect of our women? You don't apologize for the constant disrespect of our men?
Nope.
Because you want to sell a narrative? Because you want to sell a story?
It's the money.
This is, and that's my whole point. Because everything else, no other race sells out their community as quick as blacks do. Now, the truth hurt. It's called accountability. So what do we need to do on that side? Stop supporting these individuals. Stop going to their concerts. Stop chanting stupid rhetoric songs that's demeaning to us. When other races, we be like, oh, they trying to be like us. Yeah, because they think we're a joke. They think we're a costume. White kids think we're a costume. It's funny to them. It's funny to Asians over there. They want to dress like us. They want to have our style. They want to have our swag, but they damn sure don't want none of our struggle.
No.
Why would they? Who wants to be at the bottom of the food chain? Now,
the issue is we have so much power and so much authority. Other people can see it, but we don't see it, which is why we would agree to sell out our own community for $1. Because if we were nothing, if we didn't really matter, everybody wouldn't be trying to be like us.
Oh yeah, they do notice our power. They do notice the good things about us as a whole. But you know what? It's just like a beautiful woman with horrible self-esteem. You can tell her she's beautiful all day. You can give her the best treatment. You can do everything else. But until she believes it, it means nothing. You're going to go through this constant battle because they got to believe it. So we're in a place where we got to believe it. We got to believe. We got to understand that we are more incredible. That we're not just, and there's nothing wrong with that. I know a lot of people say, what's wrong with somebody wanting to be an athlete and everything else like that? There's nothing wrong with somebody wanting to play for the Detroit Lions. But I want to let other people know, and other blacks and people, men that look like me, like, man, you can play for the Lions and make some good money. You can own the Lions and be paying everybody else's salary. It's a difference in the mentality. And we're not saying everybody's going to be business owners because it's not going to happen. People got to work. You got people that help other people realize their dream and get paid really good money for it. That's why they have jobs. It's unrealistic out there for everyone to say everybody gonna have their own business. It ain't gonna happen. Everybody's not built for that. That's not good. That's not bad. It's just that's the way the process is. What we want to say is that it's more options open than just us being the horse. We ain't got to be the horse all the time. We ain't got to be the one running it at Kentucky Derby. We could be the one sitting up in the booth saying, "Yeah, that's my horse right there." We ain't always got to be the one that's on the field getting beat up, getting bruised. We ain't got to be the ones in the ring getting abused and everything of that nature. We ain't got to be the one on stage knowing that the only way we actually making the pay is I have to go on tour. That's why it's such a different mindset. We want to let blacks know, because TV and the image that's portrayed is almost like they're trying to tell blacks, this is how you got to do to be black. At one time, we had our women held to a standard of incredible means, like queens, with standards. This things happen. We show how black women were adored. But what happened somewhere along the line, it was more money in making black women look like whores. And black man didn't try to stop it. It's a lot of stuff. It was a time frame where black men were looked at in such a good way in terms within our community of being strong man. Like, you got your man, take care of him. Somewhere down the line, they were looked at as low down. Like, it's either the guy's not good enough, like good, bad guys ain't no good, and then the good guys ain't no fun. So, I mean, when you put a whole bunch of confusion in the community, I mean, you bound to get this. It ain't so much. I don't understand people say the crab in the barrel mentality, and that's fine, but it's more of a stare and look mentality in the black community. So you got all these people in a barrel. All they got to do is easily just stack each other, so that way the next person get up, then they can bring each other up. But everybody's just looking at one person trying to get out and just saying negative. Oh, he ain't gonna make it. Yeah, he ain't gonna do it. And that's not all of us. That ain't all of us. Go ahead, Mac. I'm sorry about that.
Yeah, so no, you good. So what's crazy is that when you break up community, right? So I think it had to be Telegraph. I was driving up Telegraph, and I didn't know between Detroit and Inkster was like Dearborn, right? So I had no clue where I was at. I knew I was in Detroit heading to Inkster, but when I saw Dearborn, like that whole strip. Now, mind you, this is like closer to the west side, heading right into Inkster. I ain't seen not one closed business. I ain't seen not one abandoned house. I saw the schools looking good. I saw the students walking home. I maybe saw 2 liquor stores in a couple miles. And so as I kept driving, like, let me just keep driving around. Like I said, I see no houses in horrible condition. Mom and pop business is still open. And I'm like, I was just in Detroit a minute ago. I'm like, isn't this still Detroit? And so when you bring up, like, it's the people in the community. It's, like you said, I don't know, hey, it started one person or whatever, but like, just to say, hey, this is our community and this is our standard. I ain't see no strip clubs over there. And it's like, and all that does is represent that, hey, this is our standard. This is how we treat our community, our kids, our women. Yeah, they'll come downtown or go wherever, and be whatever, but that ain't happening in their neighborhood. So when you stand, what'd you say?
I said they like you said, they fight for it. People understand it. It's power and image. It's power in it.
Yep. We'll drive down the street and somebody throw trash outside on the freeway or riding up on the east side. I see, and it didn't look like too like uphill springish, whatever, but like I don't think nobody throw no trash out the window. Ain't nobody gonna go ahead and like I said, just me seeing now, it's like, damn, like this all starts like, hey, this is how we treat our community, and I don't know, like I said, it just baffled me to think I thought I was still in Detroit. I was technically still in Detroit, and those communities look like that. So,
You know,
and
the
people,
big,
you brought
the
this
big
up
thing
earlier.
is,
it goes
it's the
it goes
biggest
back
thing.
to that word we used to say all the time: accountability.
Yep, I think it's accountability. I do agree. It's accountability, but what we're starting to see more and more, and I really don't understand why. I believe people are seeing it, they just ain't believing it. That you're starting to feel it for the first time. Is that you're starting to realize this is spiritual. It's straight spiritual.
Can you expound on that, please?
Yeah. What happens? I could give the best example I can give is this. I just put a stat on Facebook, on personal stat, after getting done talking with my therapist and just really going over some things. And one of the things that we were going over was talking about how sexual intercourse is the scope of it as a whole is completely deeper than anybody can understand and that people want to understand. To know, to get a little closer when we talk about when I say the spiritual in regards to communities and things, just hear me out. I'm going to try to go through it as quick as possible. Just hear me out. The pleasure and physical aspect of sex only accounts for about 2% of the whole scope of what sexual intercourse is. The reason why those aspects are so big is because it's what you feeling. It's because of the quick satisfaction that you get.
Sensation.
That's it. That's why it's so big to everyone. But the emotion, the mental, and the spiritual ties and baggage that come along with sexual intercourse is completely so deep. It is responsible for years and years of baggage, mental health, and bad relationships. It's responsible for that. People don't think. What happens is that's what I mean when they say with the neighborhoods, it's spiritual. It's been something constantly we have been doing, but we have not, all we do is stay eating the fruit, but no one has dug down to check out where the roots and what's growing inside the roots underneath the ground. When we come to, like we say, different communities, and just like Marcel just said, Dearborn Heights and Dearborn are culturally different. But when it's needed, they will stick together and get what is needed done because they have the greater cause in mind. So when you have sex, and this is what the deep part of what I'm talking about when you say with our communities, this is the deep part of sex. Stay with me. I'm still talking about the community. I'm trying to go as fast as I can. With sex, think about this. This is what's so deep about sex, and no one ever understands it. Or, no, people understand it. They just don't want to think about it. What it is that when you sleep with someone, their mental illnesses, their spiritual deficiencies, their emotional damage and baggage has also been deposited in you. Not just sperm and semen. Those are things you cannot protect from. So think about this. If someone is sleeping with 20, 30, 100 different people,
Every one of those individuals they have slept with, and you sleep with them once, you slept with all of them. You have a spiritual deposit in you that you got. This is why God, when everybody said, "Oh, God trying to keep us from sex," there's nothing wrong with sex. God ain't trying to keep us from no sex. He's the inventor of sex. He knew that what was the reason for sex. The problem come into play. He said, "Don't fornicate because I understand what comes with sleeping with multiple people. I don't want you to intertwine or intermene or entangle," or the famous words of Jada Pinkett, "have an entanglement of spirits with individuals, emotional." Think about it. You ever seen someone that's been raped? In our in some things that we have, you might think an individual that might have been molested and raped may want to have less sex when they get older. It don't happen like that sometimes. Matter of fact, it becomes more promiscuous because of the deposits of some ignorant individual that decided to rape them and molest them, because it takes a perverted individual, it takes a perverted mindset, a perverted spirit to molest children, to rape women and men. That's a power concept. That's a total perverted issue. So just to turn it all the way around, because that's a whole different other discussion. When it comes to the spiritual aspect of communities, when people are around in the community and all they see is burnt down houses, trash, crime, drugs, that affects their spiritual, mental, and emotional way more than their physical. They begin to get used to it. They begin to see it all the time. So it becomes embedded into their spirit to where they don't think that they can have nothing better. There's going to be two things. You think you don't have any better, you're going to leave, or you're going to stay. Because guess what? You got people that leave out of that community and take that same spiritual mindset into the new community they live into. That's why you ever seen when people say, "I got to move out of here." Detroit, at one time, was majority, it was a really, really, really good city for the most part. Then they try to blame the white exodus, like crime and everything else like that. And then when people start moving to Southfield, no offense to anybody in Southfield, they start calling it Detroit North because they said more blacks was moving out there and they saw more abandoned and all this other stuff and everything else, how it goes. That's what I mean by the spiritual aspect of things. It means that you're moving to different places, but you have not changed mentally, emotionally, or spiritually whatsoever. So that's like when they put all these new things in the community, right? When they build new parks, in 2 months they tore up. Why? Because the mentality of the community hasn't changed. That's why when people, same in relationships, you would think a man get with a woman that's amazing, right? She's good, she's amazing, everything that you could want for a woman. She's understanding, she's trusting. She ain't out here having sex with everybody. She just wants you. She supports you, but at the same time, she tells you when you're wrong. She holds you accountable. She does those good things that a good woman's supposed to do. But because you have not changed mentally and emotionally and spiritually, you have now contaminated her, because now you're going to do her wrong because you are still tainted. You never put the work in to get yourself tainted. Untainted. The problem is everyone has a past. We all do. The issue comes when you bring baggage. Baggage and having a past is two different things. So just like in our communities, we're bringing the same baggage and the same mindset that we've carried for years. They ain't changed nothing. Oh, they didn't do anything. Because guess what? Big Mama, they all dying off. All the older folks that kept up their properties, they're gone. Then they give the properties over to their grandchildren, who didn't have to work for nothing a day in their life. All they got to do now is just pay the insurance,
taxes,
property taxes. And what they do in 2 months go into foreclosure because they like smoking weed. They like looking like they got money, instead of paying for a house and a shelter that you can use to get equity, you let that foreclose, so you squander a blessing that you did nothing to work for. So that's the problem in the community now. And I would say this a little deeper, and I know I'm doing a lot of talking, but I'll do this real quick. The problems I see in the community, and especially now and everything. One, mental health is not a trend. We got to stop letting people use mental health and use that word all the time to say this is what the issue is. Just like Ms. Hill said, just like what Mr. Reese said, accountability. You got to have it. Because what happens is when you get everybody saying they got mental health, then what is mental health issues? If everybody has mental health issues, then what is the issue? If everybody has it. You have people that really have schizophrenia.
Yep.
Bipolar disorder. That really have phobias that are crippling.
Yeah.
And we make a mockery of it when we have people saying, I shot up kids because I got a mental disorder. That's not a mental disorder. That was a intelligent, idiotic, divisive, evil decision that you made.
Yeah. What you need?
Period. Nobody buys 1,000 rounds of ammo, strategically maps out areas. Last time I called that, if that's in the military, that's called strategy. We got to get that out the way. No mental health. You're not sick because you rape people. You don't have mental illness. I rape people. I got a mental illness. No, you're perverted and you're evil. Period. Because it's people that have real mental issues, they're not evil. I have an uncle, God rest his soul, gravy, who had Down syndrome, a mental health issue, and a physical issue. That man wouldn't hurt a fly. Mm-hmm. So you're telling me that everybody who has it would be, that's what you're telling me, that everybody who has those type of issues would do all that evil things. No, it's just the opposite. I believe that a lot of people with those type of issues are more sensitive to evil people. I believe that. I believe they are more sensitive. They can spot people that ain't no good real quick.
Absolutely.
But I'm done with people talking about everything is mental health. It ain't no, everything is not mental health. Some of it is clear cut and precise decision making. You just did piss poor decision making. You're evil. Your soul needs to be reaccounted for, and that's it, period. You get nothing from me. Take that up with God. Don't tell me 19 kids is a part of someone being mentally ill that's no longer here. Don't tell me 8 people that went shopping in a grocery store did, the person that did it, and videotape what he did. Don't tell me that's mentally ill. Don't tell me a man that goes into the hospital and attempts to try to find a doctor, but kills other people along the way, and then takes the easy way out by blowing his own brains out. That ain't mentally ill. Those are plots and plans. Next, accountability is the biggest disease in America. Americans don't like accountability. They like talking about everything, but they hate being accountable for everything. Mm-hmm. They want to say, I'm grown, I can do what I want to do. This is my rights. People always quoting it. Oh man, these are my constitutional rights. Shut up. Constitutional rights. Constitutional rights don't give you the right to run up into a government buildings, break out windows, searching for people to try to stump them out. The only people that can get away with that are people with the complexion for the protection, Caucasians. We've seen that. The problem is people believe just because your feelings got hurt that you have the right to do whatever you want to do in response to it. Mm. Will Smith had a breakdown on stage. He had a mental breakdown. That don't excuse him from going up there smacking a man. My wife was offended. Who cares? If every time you get offended, you're going to strike somebody, man, we going to be some smacking motherfuckers. You're going to be smacking people every day. You're going to be fighting every day. It's a little thing, one of those fruits of the spirit that people forget about. It's called self-control. People forget about this self-control. We have to have self-control. Even in the face of stupidity, we have to have self-control. Period. So
well, people think self-control is weakness.
Yeah, they think it's weakness because they don't get to act out what their emotions want them to act out at that time frame. So that's what you want to be. That's what the society we people want to live in. That as you feel, you can do. So if I'm pissed, I can do harm to people. If I'm hurt, I can hurt people. Guess what? People been doing that. How's it worked? We got a more divided country that really and truthfully has never been together, but it's even more divided now. Now, not outside of just race, views, religion, we always find new stuff to divide ourselves.
Mm-hmm.
Next, relationships, people as a whole, we have got to start working on ourselves. We got to. If you're talking about that you want to be a better individual, you're talking about you want to have a better community, you're talking about all these things, you have got to begin with yourself. You have to begin doing that hard journey of discovering why you're repeating the same habits. It's just hard. Stop getting in a relationship. Stop jumping from relationship to relationship, whether it's friendships, whether it's marriages, whether it's being couples. We need to take the slow road. We've already tried to get an express lane for everything. Some people think the best way to get over somebody is to get under somebody else new. And all you're doing is you're just doing the same habit over and over again, expecting different results.
Yep.
Ladies, men alike, we do it all the time. We jump right into something else. I'm hurt. Deal with the hurt. Deal with why you're hurt. Because guess what? Sex will never be the answer. If sex is the answer, then the first person you have sex with, you be with from beginning to end. You wouldn't have to have sex with nobody else again. Sex is not the answer. The answer is us coming to some hard truths about ourselves. We do too much pointing and saying, this person did that, that caused me to do that. No.
Yeah.
There's some instances. But the point is that we have got to stop pointing fingers, and we need to sit down and be like, look, whether you do it with a licensed therapist, with pastors, with any individual, I would say do it with people that don't know you.
Yeah. Nobody.
That's my honest opinion. Do it with individuals that don't know you, that don't have preconceived thoughts of you, that can go up there and just listen to you. The issue is that we don't want to do that because people are afraid to death to stop looking in a two-way mirror, and when they have to look back at their own reflection, they're scared of what they're actually going to see. You get scared of the fact that you're going to see weakness. You're scared of the fact that you're going to that you see some fears. You're going to be scared of the fact that you got some insecurities and things that you thought you buried a long, long time ago, and you see that it's still there.
Or it's resurfacing.
It's all over and over again. I use myself as an example all the time on the show when I say this, and just in real life when people ask me about things. I cannot blame my failed relationships on every single woman that I was with. I can't do it. You can't. You have to take your own accountability. And when I start taking my own accountability, say I'm done looking at other people, I'm gonna do it. Look what I did. And you know what I found out, Shirley, Fifi? You know what I found out, Matt? You know what I started finding out? Randy got some issues. Randy has a repetitious type of behavior that I didn't see before until I sat down and really looked.
Mm-hmm.
See, that's the problem. People don't want to do that stuff. everything has a starting point to where it happens. And when you find out why you do it, then it now makes more and more sense.
Yep.
The biggest thing, one of my biggest issues I had was that I ghost women. When something happens I don't like, I don't talk about it. Mm-hmm. I'm like, I'm not going to talk about that. Why should I have to talk about that? You know it's a stupid thing. You know that's ignorant. I'm out of here. On to the next one. No feelings, no whatsoever. Ghost, I'm done. But that came from when I was married. When I first initially went through counseling. Because I didn't want to go through counseling first. I didn't want to do marriage counseling. And what happened in the counseling, it showed me about myself. And I was growing and I saw the things and I saw the change. But then I saw that the person I with tried to use those changes against me, tried to hold them against me and make me feel a certain type of way. So you took my vulnerability that it took me so long to say, I'm gonna let it down because you're my wife. I gotta do this if we're gonna go any further. And then you use it against me. Oh man, I'm like, I'll never do that with no woman again. And unknowingly, that's what I've been doing. Each relationship. I'm not saying the women I had didn't have their own things in a relationship. Matter of fact, some of it might have been more, but that don't matter because I got to live with Randy every day. I don't have to live with my exes anymore. I have to figure out what was wrong with what was the things that was me. And like I said, it take a lot of some gut wrenching because you have to look at it. You have to look at your patterns. You have to want to be better. And when you desire that you want better, you're gonna pull open some wounds that need to be open, quite frankly, because underneath the surface, it ain't healed. And once I understood that, then healing was creeping in. I'm like, dang, I ghost women. I didn't ghost them. So guess what? In my ghosting, what you think that ghosting did to those women? It hurt them. It destroyed them because they don't know what's going on. They might be like, I'm trying to love him and I don't know what's going on. He just left and just goes. He ain't talking to me. I would not talk to somebody for like, shoot, it could be up to 3 days to 2 weeks. Like, I'll talk to you when I want to talk to you because what you're doing is stupid. Now, the issue might have been for real, but you would think right now, as much as I'm talking right now, and as good as a communicator I could be on here right now, that you would think, dang, he got a problem communicating with with couples. And I did. That had a major problem in it. Because it's always easier to talk to other people, but when you got somebody that's around you 24/7 and you got to be around them, that's tough. When you got to be around them when you don't like them. When you got to be around them because they pissed you off. When you got to be around them, and it's like a constant reminder of the argument you just had in the morning. Mm-hmm. You just can't dip out and leave. So I'm just telling people that next thing, that third thing, we gotta do. People always talk about this self-discovery, and I mean this with all my heart, and I hope people really can hear me when I say this. Self-discovery happens when you start to understand and learn how to conquer loneliness alone. People talk about they want to discover themselves, but they want to still stay with people. Like I want to discover how I am, but I want to do it while I got somebody. I'm gonna be honest with you. I don't really think that can happen. I think that we have to understand that it's something that LL Cool J said. I wish I had that. He said, men need to focus on their purpose and their mission first in life before they start trying to get families and marriage and stuff like that. And it's a reason why. It's because men will develop bitterness. We talk about women, but men develop bitterness.
That's a fact. I saw that same interview, cuz.
Yep. And cuz when I saw it, I thought about it. Because I remember being married, and I remember I had the opportunity to go out of town to Minnesota. And I turned it down because I didn't want to leave my daughter. And I was married, I got children, and all I kept thinking is that, oh, man, I could have been doing this, I could have did that, and this, and I'm here doing this, and I'm with this, blah, 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 blah. But men, because they don't do a lot of talking, they get bitter. They'll blame everyone in that house for their mistakes. I know a lot of women get a bad rap with that because women can do it too, but men do it. It's a weird thing that they do, but they'll say, man, man will get mad because he I gave up everything for y'all. And this is the thanks I get. So I would really gear toward individuals and to really work on your purpose, especially men. I think it's vital for men to work on your purpose and your mission before you start getting serious with any women and trying to bring kids into this world, because you'll develop bitterness if you don't get where you want to be. You got time frames to do it. I think people are so much in a rush for everything. Microwave society has panned over into everything, and the worst thing they panned over into is relationships. Men and women got to develop with each other. They got to develop before they get with each other, and then when they get with each other, they still got to develop. So to women out there, stop allowing these men to get y'all pregnant. And they don't even have an ambition to put a ring on your finger.
Hell, or ambition at all.
Ambition at all. It's something wrong. It's crazy. It's something wrong with, and I mean this in the best sense because I care. If you got dozens of kids and you've never been married,
you got commitment.
It says something about the man, but it says a lot more too about you. You gotta stop. You gotta stop. And men, stop going out here impregnating everywhere. Stop impregnating these women. There ain't no honor in that. Get out of that BS honor talking about, man, I'm going out here slaying all these women. You bragging about losing your life every day. Because every time a man sleeps with a woman, you give up a piece of your life. What you think that comes out of you? Life comes out of a man. You can't go out here sleeping with everybody. The fact that you feel like you're going to put yourself into every woman you sleep with speaks volumes about you and how much that you care about yourself. Every time you go out here and you sleep with a woman, you almost committing euthanasia. Just in case you don't know what euthanasia means, that's it's another word for suicide. You're doing it every day. There's no honor in that. There's no honor in you having kids everywhere. You married to none. All you got is all these women out here taking all the blame for your lack of responsibility and your lack of self-control. And all you doing is just spreading. Not only you spreading your seed, you spreading all the, like I said, all the spirits and all the emotional damage and the baggage from every single woman that you've ever slept with. And you giving it to this woman, you giving it to that man, and y'all all trying to figure then the man trying to blame women for being bad women and the women blaming men for being bad men. Y'all all bad. We screwed up. You don't take relationships serious enough. Everybody wants something for nothing. Women say they want a good man, but your standards and your concept is completely irrational. Men say they want a good woman, but your concept and standards are completely idiotic. A man wants a woman that he can say, yeah, this is my woman. But at any given time, you want to be able to go screw anything you want to screw. But at the moment she look at somebody different, you're about to lose your mind. So you want loyalty without giving loyalty. Women want men that are like, hey, I want you to be for me. I want you to be like the old school man. But I sure as hell not going to be the old school woman. Clean, forget that. Cook, forget that. Submission, oh, forget that. You want something for nothing. We have a whole concept that is completely irrational and blown. People just ain't doing right. They expect for people to take them with all their sorry assness, but they want top notch. So people basically coming into relationships with 300 credit scores in regards to their integrity, and they want somebody with over 800. It don't work like that, man. It just don't work like that. We got to do things a million times different now. We do. We have to. If we don't, we're looking at a society that's going to be continually narcissistic, that continually loves itself, that craves attention, but doesn't want accountability. It wants safety, but always wants to initiate violence. It's like everything we do is just the opposite of what we want. That's what's scary. I believe that's the biggest part that's wrong with our society. Everything we want is just the polar opposite of everything we give. And until we can improve that, like both of y'all said, as I was sitting there listening to y'all, I just don't know. I don't know. My faith is strong in God, like I know y'all's are. I believe I got to be the change, so that's why I do the change. Like Fifi said, even when it comes to exercising and being healthy, in the beginning of this year, even with beautiful lady right looking at me this whole time. She's been good. She was sitting here this whole time watching. Now I've totally changed the way I eat, the way I work, the things that I do, because I want better. I want to be more healthy. You got to change. Just like Marcel said, way back in the notes, I got to find it. I wish I could find it. If you want different, you got to do different. There it is right there. If you want different, you got to do different.
Absolutely.
You got to do it. A couple of years ago, it would have been unheard of. Talking about guys going to, counseling and things of that nature. Now, just about every most important guy that, male is, I know, is doing self-care doing the work about themselves. They're going to counseling. They're going to speak to therapists because they realize there's issues that ain't got nothing to do with their family. It's got to do with them. It's just basically like Mac has said, if you want better, the first person that's got to do better is you. You gotta want it like that.
How do you take that first step? If you're a person that recognizes you have issues, how do you take that first step? Because I feel like we know what to do because we're those type of people, personality wise. We know I don't like what I see and I'm gonna do something about it. But for those people who are stuck or they just see it but they ain't doing nothing about it, what's the first step?
Admitting it. I remember if people the main you and Phoebe and Mac, y'all know. Or let me be proper. Let me be proper. Mr. Reach says his heels. Y'all already know. The hardest part, the most hardest part of everything is admitting that you got an issue. They said in every major meeting, whether it be AA, people with any addiction, you have to admit that you got an issue. Admitting that you got an issue is always the first step. You can't lie to yourself. There's two people you can't lie to. You can't lie to yourself, and you can't lie to God or whoever you call your higher power that you believe in. You can't lie to them. You can pull the wool over some people's eyes for a little bit, some people a lot longer than others, but you can't lie to yourself. So you have to admit that you got that problem. Sometimes, oh man, dang. For some people, they got to hit rock bottom. I hope a lot of people wouldn't have to hit rock bottom, but that means that's where you have to go, because some people don't believe, what's that statement Grandma used to say? Fat
meat is greasy.
Yeah, fat meat is greasy. Some people don't believe that, and y'all all know that. Y'all both know that. We got people in our family that had to hit rock bottom.
Yep.
And you know what? It was a blessing, because you wouldn't even recognize. I'm not in it for putting no one bill out there. You wouldn't recognize them. Like, wow.
They're different. They've changed.
What'd you say, Phoebe? They changed.
They changed. That transformation happened.
Some of the greatest transformation happened in the greatest pain. I mean, I wish I could tell people a little different, but like y'all said, we all of us, it's been in a lot of different things. Have experienced marriage, been married, that had the ups and downs, that had school, that had life. Life hits you hard, and often with sucker punches, with kicks, with karate chops, with bats and bricks. It ain't fair. Sometimes it don't seem fair, but you got to be able. The one big step is being able to admit it. You got to admit it. Sometimes you just got to say it out loud. Like, man, I got a problem. Because, man, grateful to God. God give us free will. So he like, I'm not going to do nothing until you want me to do it. In terms of you changing. If you want it. I give you a clear-cut choice. If you want it, okay. Now we can work on it. Because when you admit it and you want it and you really want to change, you're more open to going through every necessary steps to get that change. I ain't saying it's gonna be easy, but you open to it. I think the next thing would be that change ain't happening overnight. So don't be expecting miracles, everyone. If it took you 20 years of being a sex fiend or a liar, a thief, a procrastinator, it's going to take you a little time to get out of it because you develop that habit. And just because you fail along the way of getting better, don't mean failure. You move on.
You need to say that again. Say that again.
Yep. Just because you fail along the way does not mean failure. Got to keep it moving. Don't be afraid to fail along the way to get better. That's the only way you're going to know to get better. You got to see the things that don't work so that way you can increase and get stronger in the things that's working. And the next one, don't isolate yourself. That's the worst thing you could do.
You need to say that one again too.
Do not isolate yourself. Just don't do it, no matter what. Especially when you got people around you that love you. Never isolate yourself. Don't listen to that voice talking about, I'm just going to go be my myself. Like we said so many times before, depression is saying, I don't want to be around nobody, but you really want to have everyone around you. You really want to be around people that love you. So, I mean, you just don't give yourself into isolation. And four, I don't care. I've been to this point so many times. I'm not ashamed of God, man. I'm not ashamed of my life. My life is a living testimony to how good God is. You have got to get yourself to a point spiritually where you can just come to grips that, man, you ain't doing this out here by yourself. That it is a higher power out here. People tend not to believe in God because nobody wants to believe that you're going to have to be accountable. Keyword we keep talking about, accountability, right? The mere thought of people thinking about they don't want to believe in God is because they don't want to feel like they're accountable for any of the dirt and stuff that they do out here. We are accountable. And the twisted part about that is that once you can get to understanding who you really are in this world, understanding that we are spiritual beings. We ain't these fleshy, these fleshy things that we love talking about. Some look better than others. Myself, I look great, but other things. But we are deeper than that, man. We are spiritual. We are spirit. And once we can understand that we have to feed this spiritual man and stop consuming this flesh man, because this flesh man is eating itself from the inside out. You have to get to a outstanding, I'm not even hesitating, outstanding prayer life and spiritual life. You have to get these balances with yourself. You have to feed it. You have to feed the spirit man. We feed everything else. This is why we got high obesity. This is why we got things like lung cancer and high STDs, because we are satisfying everything else that has nothing to do with improving ourselves. So I would tell people, definitely, man, get yourself spiritually right. I'm not going to go into no long debate about, well, which one you going to? I believe that your belief system, or however you want to say it, I believe as you walk and how you conduct yourself, to me, shows what you believe. It ain't saying that you're perfect, but you're saying that you understand that this life that you live in, you know that you ain't living it alone and that you got a lot of help. Matter of fact, you ain't probably doing the walking that you most of the way that you can carry. And I'm grateful to God that he been carrying me. So I don't know about nobody else. I'm grateful because some days I'm just tired. And that's where we got to get to the place too, where you can't be embarrassed. Don't let people that keep wanting to tell you and steer you farther and farther away that God don't exist, because that's a lie. It's too much evidence out here that God exists. And they want to tell you that they want to tell you that this thing right here, like when you see this thing is a fuchsia with a purple on the bottom. They want to keep telling you that it's green and yellow. Like, tells me God, like it don't exist, man. No, it's a lie. There's too many examples out here. As we've seen, the more they take away God, the more things go haywire. Mm-hmm. The less order, the more chaos. See, come on.
Yeah.
Just like Ms. Hill just said, you took God out of school. Look what's going on. And somebody twisted gonna come along and say, you trying to say God's punishing school. No! People have screwed us up. Keep in mind, God gave man dominion. But yeah, that's all I want to. Now, people, I apologize if we lose viewers, but it is what it is. I just don't like people putting things in the wrong place. If God gave us accountability for what happens here on the earth, why would you blame God for what happens?
No accountability.
No accountability. God letting people die in the street. What? What? God giving people cancer. What? Let's say maybe the amount of pollution we put in the air has destroyed our health. Maybe the consuming of all the toxins that we do have destroyed our health. Maybe our love for all this sexual immorality and the fact that AIDS, chlamydia, gonorrhea, herpes, and all those things are on the rise and continue to rise. Even people with AIDS right now, the goal for sexual transmitted diseases is not to have sex unprotected, and more importantly, not to have sex at all if it ain't a partner that you trust. Instead, they try to make things like, oh, we got AIDS, but we got something that'll get your numbers so low that it ain't even detectable. So what you trying to say? They can still go out here and have sex? See, the problem is we so consumed with the things, just like we so consumed with the things that don't matter. We never get to the root cause because people are scared to dig. You'll never get into the most important things and the biggest goals and the biggest levels in your life if you are afraid to dig. People don't care. They go out there and see an apple tree. And I'm done because I want to hear them talking. I talk too much. And you got an apple tree out here. People just go up here and pick the apple tree dry, right? Oh, it's just the apples. Then one day try to figure out why the apples ain't there no more. Well, one, y'all picked all the apples off of. Two, did y'all ever think to check to see maybe it's something going on under the surface to why the apples ain't growing no more? Or they get apples and they see it's poisonous. Why is the apple so poisonous? But you keep eating them. That's how we do in society. We see the fruit, we keep eating it, we wonder why it's not working. Like, oh, why does it taste like this? Oh, well, let's just keep eating it. Because you don't go underneath the surface to dig, to find anything. Why do I like men that keep putting their hands on me? You got to get underneath the surface to figure out why. If every guy looks different, but they got the same behavior, that means you're not attracted. It ain't the physical, it's the spiritual aspect. Hey, why y'all go ahead and talk?
Listen. That's why you say I ain't said nothing on purpose, because you know how I'm gonna go.
Yeah, he over here preaching. I'm like,
look, we ain't trying to take y'all to church tonight. Because we have a whole deliverance ceremonies on this land.
I'm just so, because I'm tired of people not understanding. We got to see that it's spiritual. We got to see it. You're blind now if you don't see it spiritual. And everything that's going on, you got to be blind to it, or you just don't want to see it. You got copycats. That's spiritual. That's spiritual. Somebody want to be infamous for killing people. That's spiritual. That's demonic.
Evil.
That's pure evil. We got people right now, we don't even know, that sit there systematically looking at, they're at home right now, planning. Just planning to do harm to people. They planning to do harm to people. We got a government that control every landscape of media. They sow hate, they sow division, So that way we don't pay attention to all the crap they do. All they talking about, people talking about gas. Gas is so high. Why wouldn't it be high? That was a part of the negotiation that Biden wanted to have with the oil companies. Let's not get it twisted. Biden take it's big time oil money that funded him to get in office. It's conveniently disappeared that we're not going. They're supposed to get rid of the gas tax. Last time I checked, that was about 2 months ago. Have you heard anything else about it? They tell you food is higher. See, this is the thing. Fear is the only way they do the. It's spiritual. If you do not think things are not spiritual, why are people getting? They ain't just getting mad because gas is high. It's a fear tactic. All of a sudden, and then what they blame? Every time it's a war, they say it's on. Oh, that's the reason why stuff is rising. They can say it's a war. They can say it's a war on an island that nobody live on. It's a war on Mogadishu. It's causing oil to go up. Ain't causing no oil to go up. It ain't causing nothing. We control. How can oil and everything go up when our government control the control prices?
Because it's about control.
So, yep. You got people choosing paying bills over putting gas in their car. Y'all don't think they're trying to build up a powder keg in this country now that is already, it's like it's about to be lit. $5 a gallon in Michigan. $5 a gallon in Michigan. It's not only that, but look at the food. Everything is jumps. Everything is jump. Everything costs more. You go to the grocery store now, it's less items.
14 items for over $100.
Meat is less in the pack, but it costs more.
Yep.
And everything that we do, think, go to everything. And then what they do, they'll say, then Wall Street, up, down, 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 down. It goes down because the richest people that want to be in this bad boy, they can buy up those stocks so that way it can shoot back up. Don't y'all think it's a game? It's a game to them. It's a game out here, and we just got to understand that it's all about spiritual. It's big time spiritual things going on, and I would tell people as much as they got money, you better make sure that you got some salvation.
It can't just be spiritual though. Like, why do you just think it's just so spiritual? I hear people saying this in my mind right now. They just think, why it always gotta go back to God? Why it always gotta go back to Jesus? They don't like the answer, even though it's the truth.
The truth. Because
they don't want it. They don't want it.
People don't like the truth because the truth is like medicine that actually heals. Before it heals, it hurts. You ever been to the dentist's office and you got to get surgery and things of that nature? Majority of the time, they give you this huge shot. And
that needle was so long. Good God.
Yep, and it don't feel good. Or any other medicine that actually does some good for you. It tastes disgusting for the most part. It ain't like these what you call these medicines that like NyQuil and stuff that they just try to doctor up a little bit so you can take more of it. But the reason why everything is so spiritual, because that's what every aspect and connection of life is. Life is spiritual. It's like it's just too many examples of it. It's too many examples of it. People, like you just said, Ms. Hills, if people don't believe it, it's because you're purposely wanting to be ignorant. When I see someone that say they're atheist, I don't take nothing about it. Okay, that's fine. You know, if that's what you want to do. But you know what? You know why most people are atheists? Because they were at places of worship where those places were out of order and they got hurt. Every single one of them want to hear this story. That's what happened. And it never made sense to them because they're like, man, you saying to do this, but y'all doing this. That's why people don't want to do that, because they've been in places where they didn't do it right. They were doing wrong. They were corrupt. And people, when they got there, instead of worshiping God, which they really didn't know how to do at that time frame, because the leadership was corrupt, they totally turned. So they don't trust. It ain't so much they don't trust God. They don't trust whoever those people in charge were. And guess what? Now, spiritually, that got soaked into them. Spirit, that's the word of the day. It got soaked into them spiritually. So now it's a trigger. Anytime they see somebody talking God or blah, 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 it's an automatic shut off.
And you know what's funny?
Mm-hmm.
That's the number one trick of the enemy.
Yep.
That's how he wants you to be. That's the position he wants you to be in, because he knows God is real.
Absolutely.
He knows that God only wants the good and the best for you, and God loves you. But he wants you to believe otherwise. He wants you to believe that you're better off without God. He wants you to believe that you can do this by yourself and you don't need God. You got you and your strength, and you can handle it and manage it and figure it out. That's his number one trick. And that's what all I see out here today. That's why I'm not going to ever be ashamed of God. I'm never going to stop saying Jesus. Never. Because he is real and he is true. And he's proven it time and time again. And if people would start putting that same energy that they take from he say, she say, and well, I heard this, or they said this about the church and all this gossip, and you actually try it for yourself, God will never disappoint you. God will never let you down. God is the most faithful, loyal thing you could ever find in your life. You're going to be tired of God. Like, can you go somewhere? Because he ain't going to never leave you. He going to be with you through everything, even when you are being messy and when you are being bad. He going to love you through it.
Right. You hitting it right on the head. You hitting it right on the head.
Because the more he loves you and the more you stick with him, the more he's going to clean you up and help you to be the best person you want to be in your heart. Not the ugly person that you're looking at in the mirror. He's going to help you get to that point, because it's going to take his strength and his ability and his power to get you there. You can't do it on your own strength. Otherwise, you would have been did it.
You'd have been. Thank you.
You would have been lost the weight. You would have been had the healthiest relationships. You would have been had your dream job, your dream house, all these finances that you want, all of that. You would have had all your kids. You would have had everything you want if you could do it in your own strength, but you cannot. It's only God that can do it, because God is the only one that calls the shots. He opens the doors, closes the doors, windows, whatever you want to call it. If God say so, then it is so. You can't change what God says. God is the final authority and the only one. Even the devil got to come through God. So let's not get it twisted. I'm just saying. We got to understand the importance, because the devil is on his job and he is thinking he winning, but he's not. The only way he's going to win is if you allow him to win. That's with depression. That's with sadness. That's with hopelessness. That's with feeling defeated. You're not defeated, because you have people that love you. You got people in your corner, but you're shutting them out because, like Randy said, you're letting the devil trick you into, I got to isolate because I got to handle this by myself. I got to be the only one to figure this out and get through it. I don't want to be a burden on nobody else. I want to get it together myself, and then I'll come to God. You ain't going to never get it together on yourself. That's the whole point of God. You need him to help you get it together. And I feel like God set this up tonight, because a lot of us have been very frustrated with what we see going on in the world. We feel sad and sorrowful and grieving because we keep seeing people get killed. We keep seeing people dying. We keep seeing people commit suicide. We look at our neighborhoods and our communities and we just like, there got to be something better than this. This is horrible. Right. And God is like, you're right. This is horrible. But I can give you the power and authority to change it through Christ Jesus. If you only give him a chance, if you only accept him, if you only, like Randy said, admit, even when you come to Christ through salvation, the first thing you have to do is admit you are a sinner, because you are living apart from God in relationship with God. That's what makes you a sinner.
That's what it is.
And God is like, all you're admitting is that you need me. That's it. You need me. Your life is void of me. Come get me. Because I've been waiting on you. I'm right here. I'm still waiting. You ain't gonna deter me from wanting you. I'm God. I love you.
Ain't that
I'm
the
gonna
trip?
keep coming after you forever. Yeah.
That's the trip, because when I tell individuals this, I say, first of all, Jesus was never a fan of religion, because he understood what religion was. Like, man, I'm
You
not
need to
following
say
you.
that loud and proud one more time. Because people get confused every
They get
day.
it so confused all the time. Talk about, oh, you religious. Jesus didn't like religion. But Jesus flipped over tables because of religious folks. You're like, what are you doing? It ain't religion. See, this is exactly what religion is. Religion is man chasing God. That's a false. Man don't have to chase God. God chases after us. See, this ain't no. He like, I'm loving you. I'm adoring you. Every aspect. I'm loving you and I'm adoring you. I'm coming after you. And some people are like, well, you're supposed to see God. That's in regards to answers. We talk about in regards to love. God chases us down with his love. He's trying to
Yes.
tell you, like, man, I love you. You imagine the most I think of all the time and how incredible he is in my life. And I don't ever beat people down with that. I just let my life be an example. And what I mean by that is that I ain't walking like I'm perfect, because I know I'm not perfect. Perfection will never happen. That's why I need him even more. All I think about is everything that I've been in 40 years, the type of man that I am, the things I've been through, the time frames I've been inconsistent. Oh my God, the time frames I've been inconsistent. And everything I've done, he still looked to me, he still stayed with me, arms around me, arms holding on to me, saying, I want this man. And he's doing that for everybody. No matter how bad you are, that you think you are, how unredeemable you think you are. He still wants you. Like, man, I want you. Like a real father. Like, oh yeah, I know you out there, but I ain't never kicked you out the house. When you decide you want to come back, I'm here, open arms, waiting for you. That's how God is. And I think that's what people get this big misunderstanding. Talking about he got a laundry list of rules. It ain't a laundry list of rules. It ain't a laundry list of nothing. It ain't nothing but what parents do for the kids all the time. He's trying to tell you, I know. That's what God trying to tell me, man. I know. That's why I'm saying don't do it. I'm saying don't do it because I know what's going to be at the end of the road. You're not thinking about the end of the road. You're thinking about self-gratification right now. You're not thinking about the discipline. You're thinking about, I want to be satisfied right now. And that's where we at. Like you said, that's where we at in this society. That's just where we at.
We feeling those consequences of these actions of disobedience.
Everything that we do. It is. And guess what? Even it's disobedient that we are. And he knew that you was going to do that. Like, I know you're going to do that. But man, I still love you. And man, I still want you. I know that maybe you got to hit the rock bottom. Woo! Goodness gracious. Like, what I love the most about God, because I ain't going to beat people to death tonight. Because my God's so good, I ain't got to beg you to love him. I pray that a lot of y'all that may hear this, it might have been a different turn to how we had to did it tonight, but it's just something that was just so much in my spirit. It was something different in a way that we should have went tonight. And what I'm trying to tell people out there in my heart is that you've tried everything. You've tried multiple relationships. to fill up that emptiness that you thought could get filled by the warm embrace of a wrong soul tie. It didn't work. Because if it did, you wouldn't have to have it over and over and over and over and over and over and over. The very definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over again, expecting different results. What I'm trying to say to y'all is that in my 40 years of being on this earth, that I completely understand that without God, I would be completely nothing. I understand everything I've been through, whether it's been hard or not. I'm saying give them a try. There is no shortcut, but it is a sure way. And that sure way is giving God a try. He ain't an absentee father. We just been some spoiled, rebellious kids. It's like telling your kids all the time, hey, trust me, you don't want to do that. It's going to be bad for you. And then you run away because you just don't want to follow the rules. It's time for us to come back home. It's time for a lot of us to come back home. And he ain't telling you to come back home so he can say, I told you so. He's telling you to come back home so he can say how much he loves you so. Y'all catch that. That we in these days and all these times of everything going on, we are in a state of people feeling completely hopeless. And I'm telling you, I've been in a house with an individual, married, feeling hopeless, like things ain't gonna change. And it's the worst feeling that you can ever imagine. To be somewhere you're supposed to be committed, but you feel hopeless, like nothing can happen. All I'm saying now is it's time for people to come back home. We tried to do it. And then to some people, it's accountability time. We allow people to do it. Some of the people that really knew the truth, you sat back and you allowed people to get out in front. You allowed people to come out here with false narratives, and you knew they was false out of the fear, which, again, another false, because we don't have a spirit of fear. To get in here and turn the world topsy-turvy, and all we did is sit back and pray with no action. That's done. We got to get up here. We got to do what we know is the right thing to do. This ain't no holier than thou. Man, shoot, man, I know that everything that I'm saying in life, that, man, it's just by his grace and mercy. It ain't nothing I deserve. I've been inconsistent. We all have been inconsistent. Only thing we can earn more from him is favor. And, man, that's my attempt, is to continue to earn more and more favor from him. And the biggest part of it is letting them know that, man, I did it the wrong way. I want to do it your way. We all been out here. We've done it. Everything else, all other ways, it's time for us to do it his way. We allow them to take out, okay, we set back and let people try to silence us on, saying that God is real, is incredible. But we allow hurt people that says, we don't want religion because religion hurt us, whether it had been LGBTQ, whether it had been, no matter what it is, no matter what group who says, man, we want you to accept us, but we can't accept you. That's wrong. And I can say that right now to every single brother, sister out there. If you gay, lesbian, no matter what you is, man, I don't hate you. I love you. But I want to embrace you with real love, and so that you see what real love looks like. So that way you ain't got to worry about no imitation. The problem is that we have been so engulfed in imitation love for so long that half of the world don't even know what real love looks like.
Facts.
Imitation. Real love is not going to let you do things that's going to bring detrimental harm to you. Real love just not going to say yes, 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 when it should be no, no, no. Real love will not have you looking ignorant and stupid out here. That just won't happen. Real love will tell you the truth, even if it hurts, because it realizes in that hurt, rebirth of life will occur. That's real love. And it's time we start. It's time we start sharing. It's time we get out of this sensitivity. The sensitivity, all these things are not fruit of the Spirit of God, and that's why we have so much ruins right now. Because everything that is getting picked from the tree ain't fruits. We got people out here eating poison, dying, and enjoying it. We gotta get better. So that's my thing for the night. I don't know why we went this direction, but glory to God. But we just have to do better. And in the mid part of this year, as we've seen so much terror and so much violence on our own shores or just around this world, period. So much divisiveness, so much everything that's making us come together. It seems like we are at the highest level of festivity I've ever seen before in our life. That the one thing that's missing is absolutely love. We missing it. People keep talking about love. We ain't talking about the heart you press because you like somebody's stat. We talking about real love. The love does not come in to judge, but the love that comes in truth to make you rethink your own actions. You hear me on that? Truth doesn't condemn. It makes you review your decision to make sure it's the right reaction and the right choice. Period. Man, I'm done, y'all. I'm done.
You nothing to say after that. You can go ahead and close us out.
Yeah,
The benediction. Amen.
I just want to say thank you to my wonderful, of course, my always wonderful co-host, Ms. Hills and Mr. Reese. When Mr. Reese is quiet, that means he in deep thought. I love him.
No, I was man, I was just listening, man. Like I was just receiving that message, man. I was just listening.
So well, I'm just glad that y'all both here. Appreciate both of you. All of y'all listeners out there. Mike, Will, appreciate you, man. Appreciate you, brother. We got to get you back on the show as soon as possible. Miss Kathy, you already know we love and appreciate you. Marcel, thank you. Appreciate you, bro.
And Miss
John
Kathy,
Glove.
Miss Kathy, you feel better.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Derek, appreciate you, man. Said shout out to Wesley, man. He is so funny. I don't know why you keep calling him Wesley Snipes, but and shout out to everybody else that's gonna read this video. So again, y'all, go ahead and keep keep like everybody. We gonna get good. We gonna get back to our Wednesday nights. The Wednesday has been my fault because I've had a couple of different things that's came up with work, and that's why I been Wednesday. Wednesday is still the time just for everybody that has been asking about as a change. No, we're just trying to make sure that we remain consistent with getting out
the information and bringing our show to y'all because we appreciate y'all so much. That's number one. And everything and all, like I said, the plan is still Wednesday at 7:45. To my great host, man, I appreciate y'all so much. Y'all got anything to say before we go ahead and close out this bad boy tonight?
Everybody continue to love your family. Don't take it for granted. And like I said, just continue to put God first. Continue to share, like, and subscribe. Thank y'all for being a part of this amazing evening with us. And we will see y'all next time. Miss Hills.
I agree with everything that's been said. We love you. Continue to communicate with us. Continue to reach out. Even if you need prayer, listen, we gonna put this prayer request out here. If you need prayer for anything, we know how to pray.
Absolutely.
You ask us and we gonna pray for you for real. This is real life. That's all I gotta say.
Absolutely. And in the spirit of saying that, absolutely, man, I just want to close this out in prayer. Because I just feel that so much. I feel like we just so thick in this atmosphere in this world right now that we need to combat it. Because let me tell you something, hate will never conquer love. Never. So, Father, Lord, we thank you. Lord, we thank you for all that you continually do, known and unknown, Father. That, Lord, we never take anything that you do for granted, Father. We thank you for the air that we breathe. We thank you for just another opportunity to be together, to talk, to discuss, and more importantly, Father, to spread love. Father, I ask for every single individual that hear this, that has been on here tonight, that has commented. Lord, I ask that in every situation that they have right now, Father, that we don't have to know what it is, but you know what it is. Father, I ask that you meet the need. That, Lord, you do more than what they could ever expect in their lives, no matter what the situation is, Father. And Lord, let us never be ashamed of showing how much that we love you, declaring everything that you have done for us in our lives, Father, because we're beyond appreciative. There ain't enough words to describe how much we appreciate you and love you and adore you. So, Lord, I just ask for every single person that may come across this podcast, that may come across this message. Lord, I ask that it may bless them, that it encourages them, that it uplifts them, and that it strengthens them. That, Lord, in this time frame and the things that we have going on today, Father, we just ask that more love, real love, gets spread. That confusion and chaos is destroyed. And that order and truth takes precedence. And we ask all these things in Jesus' name, Lord. We love you and we thank you. Amen.
Amen.
All right, everyone. We will see y'all next week. Until then, thank you for being here tonight, and we will see y'all next week, Wednesday. Love you. Take care.